Are you a radio enthusiast, a research student, or a curious thinker looking for adventure? If this sounds like you, welcome to the third episode of The Summer I Found My Spark, a podcast where we interview Adelphi's brightest minds to learn about their summer research experience. We'll be asking students how they discovered their topic, reached out to mentors, the setbacks they faced, and the advice they have for future student researchers. My name is Maci, and today's episode is brought to you in collaboration with the Sparks Research Center, where curiosity meets innovation. Each summer, the Sparks Center funds students to take on independent research projects across various disciplines. Whether you're interested in computer sciences, dance, literature, or public health, there's something for every listener with a curious take on life. So keep your ears sharp, for this podcast might just leave you inspired or searching for your own spark. To find out more, please visit the Spark Instagram page and website linked in our description. Today we're joined by Emilia, Karpiel, Aleeza, Khurram, and Lily Harutyunyan at the PAWS studio. Emilia is a pre-med junior in the Honors College majoring in biology. Hi, Emilia.
Hi, Maci.
Aleeza is a pre-dental junior in the Honors College majoring in biology. Hi.
Hi, Maci Bell.
And Lily is a pre-professional biochemistry major. Hi, Lily.
Hi, Miss Maci.
We're so excited to have you guys here today. Every year since 2014, Dr. Widera has taken a group of Adelphi students to Poland to conduct nanotechnology and material science research with leading scientists at the University of Warsaw. And this year, with support from the Sparks Research Center, our guests spent their summer in Poland working on cutting-edge projects while enjoying Pączkis and sightseeing across Europe. Let's hear more from our guests about their experience, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Hi, Maci. Thank you for having us. I want to point out the first thing that you said, and you mentioned Pączki. I would like to say Lily really enjoyed her Pączkis this trip.
I did.
And that is the first thing I thought about.
I'm so glad. I've tried a Pączki or two, courtesy of Miss Emilia over here.
Courtesy of me, indeed.
Quite tasty, I approve.
No, I love Pączki. They have like so many different fillings and like they're just so good. They're better than donuts here. And then I remember, maybe you said pierogies, but the pierogies, I remember I tried a pierogi and Dr. Widera saw my face. And literally my face lit up. I was like, and then she's like, can I get you on a picture again? Like, please do that again.
That's so sweet. Aleeza, tell me a little bit about your experience. Did you have a good time? Did you have a good time in Poland?
Yeah, of course. I had an amazing time. I'd say I had the best time there. Like they said about the food, phenomenal. I had a great time. I do have some dietary restrictions, but like I still ate my way through Poland.
As you should. Wonderful. Okay, guys, well, let's start from the beginning of your journey. So Emilia and Aleeza, you are both biology majors and being a part of an intensive chemistry research group here in Poland. So how did you come across Dr. Widera's lab, and what inspired you to join her research group?
I mean, I suppose I'll start. Well, I wandered upon Dr. Widera's research lab by being in her freshman year Gen Chem class. Honestly, I was a little intimidated by the whole process in chemistry, but I ended up finding that I did like it a lot, as well as being a bio major in a chemistry intensive lab. Also daunting, but still, Dr. Widera was so compassionate and sweet and really held our way through. So I really had an amazing time, and it definitely made learning the chemistry a lot easier of a process than I would have thought.
That's so good.
Yeah, I did not take Gen Chem with her, but I'd say like everything that Aleeza just said, like I definitely speak to that. She definitely made this process really easy for us. Obviously a little hard, like we are kind of depleted of the chemistry classes for this group. But I heard about this group even before I was accepted to Adelphi from my cousin who did this trip in like 2019. So I've been hearing about it since then, and it's always something that kind of interested me. Because it was chemistry based, I was really nervous to do this, but once I met Widera and I started talking to her more and I started getting more interested in the research, it definitely helped me decide that this is something I wanted to do.
That makes sense. And Lily, you come from a chemistry background, so how did you discover Widera's lab?
So actually, I took a class with her. It was the quant class, and I was already in a research group, and then she told me about how she asked me about my interests in research, and then they actually aligned with what her group does. So she's like, you should join my group. I'm going to take you to Poland. I want you to come, and that it would be something that very much benefits you, and I think you would enjoy it. And it did. It was like the best time of my life. So
I'm so glad to hear that. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your project itself. For listeners not familiar with nano research, could you guys tell us a little bit about what your research this summer like focused on, and like what questions did you go into it hoping to answer? What was your research looking for?
So my research, it was about trying to find materials that can degrade this antibiotic called sulfamethoxazole from the water supply. And we wanted to do it through something called photodegradation, which is we use these materials that can be activated with light to degrade or like catalyze the degradation of these pharmaceutical agents from the water supply.
All right, so then I could take over and say a little bit about what me and Emilia did. We were both in the same lab. We worked at IPPT, which is part of the Polish Academy of Sciences. Our research involves a lot of environmental applications to nanotechnology. So a lot of like the current challenges we face is the global crisis, like different kinds of climate changes causing a skyrocketing in fossil fuel prices. It's also causing water pollution with antibiotics and textiles going into the water supply. So we focused on two main forms of nanotechnology. One that we did was MOFS, which is actually so cool because it won the Nobel Prize this year in chemistry.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it was really fun for us to be able to understand and work on it this summer, and then understand the applications of it fully through this groundbreaking research that was being conducted. MOFs are like metal organic frameworks. I like to think of them as molecular sponges. So the way they work is they absorb contaminants from the water supply. So it absorbs these antibiotics or textiles from the water, which is kind of a mix of what we did this summer.
Yeah, and so along with that, we also had a separate project that we were working on that was totally new and introduced to us this summer. So we used PVC, or you might know as polyvinyl chloride. So this is plastic that you find literally in like window frames, door frames, or like soft toys, or soft PVC, which is found in like plastic toys and stuff like that. So we use like these very thin sheets of PVC, and we use these to try to filter out certain dyes from water, and just seeing how this could be used on a larger scale of water pollution. And so we kind of just wanted to figure out if this PVC can be used as a recyclate instead of, just letting it go to waste.
Ooh, that's very interesting, and a lot of like international applications there, right? Okay, so all three of you, this is your first international research experience, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So Emilia, we know here that you come from Polish roots. This trip must have felt familiar, but also nerve-wracking, right? Like
for sure.
New at the same time. And for Aleeza and Lily, it was your first time in Poland and your first time working abroad. So regardless, traveling halfway around the world can require some adaptation, right? So between new customs, unique food flavors, language barriers, it can be a lot to navigate, I'm sure. So Aleeza and Lily, can you tell me a little bit about your experience adapting to Polish culture? You guys mentioned Pączki and some pierogi as well. So what other foods did you try? Like, what was your cultural experience there?
Okay, so for me, the background I come from, it has a lot of similar like foods and drinks and stuff like that. I'm Armenian, and like a lot of the stuff like the kompot and like the meatballs and like the stuffed, it was like the chicken Kiev and stuff. Like I've had a lot of that growing up at home, so a lot of it was familiar to me, but a lot of the new stuff was so good. And like you could literally just go to the cafe during lunch in the university and just get like a super cheap and delicious and healthy lunch. Like it was so good. And like the experience outside of that, like going to Żabkas and Biedronkas, like the 7-Eleven in the grocery stores, it was just fun. It was just like the best vibes. You can just get up, you can go do what you need to do, go to the store, go to go to work, and then come back, and then it was like living your best life. It was nice.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I agree. It was definitely a really great experience. I thought that it was honestly a lot easier than I expected it to be. There was definitely times where there was a language barrier, so it was difficult. However, we were lucky enough to have our own personal translators because Emilia and David both speak Polish. But overall, I thought it was pretty easy system. to adapt there. I also thought that something I always say is, even though I don't understand Polish, I still feel like I understand what they're saying, because Polish people are so expressive in the way they talk, and they talk with their hands and everything. So I still felt like I was still somewhat in the loop and I could understand what was going on.
Oh yes, I understand this feeling. Emilia, I've been around your family members where I'm like, I have no idea what's happening, but I kind of feel like I get the vibes. I kind of feel like I understand. Exactly. So Emilia, tell us a little bit about how different it was from being there with research and reconnecting in an educational sense, revisiting your country as a researcher, versus, you know, being there in the summers with your family in a familial way.
Yeah, so I mean, I always go to Poland every summer just to be with my family, and this summer, definitely a whole different experience, especially with the educational sense. Like, I feel like I went in basically not, quote unquote, not knowing Polish, because it's like all these different chemistry terms, biological terms that I'm like, I don't know what this is. Even like, I remember like Dr. Oshal asking me to like grab potassium chlorate or something like that, but she said it in Polish, and I was like, I don't know what that is in Polish. So it's like definitely a much easier adaptation for me than it was for like everyone else in the group, except for David, of course, but still a heavy adaptation when it comes to like IPPT and being there in the lab and everything, and like, I don't know, just definitely different.
That makes sense. I know you've mentioned before that you speak like household Polish, and obviously They're not going to be like, go grab I don't know chemistry terms, go grab the polyphenol chlorate from the other side of the room, like when you're at home. So that makes sense that there was a bit of an adaptation needed there. Okay, so Emilia and Aleeza, you're both on a pre-medical track, so pre-dental and pre-medical. Lily, and you're planning on pursuing a PhD in material science and engineering. Mm-hmm. So how has research informed your aspirations in the healthcare field, and do you hope to continue research in grad school?
I think doing this research kind of still like prepares you for like medical and like dental school, because it's still like learning the way of the lab and everything. I don't really know what else to say to this.
I could definitely add on to that. I think we definitely learned a lot about collaboration and team building.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
because in the lab, there's so many people. It's not just us. We're working with amazing mentors. We're working with great PhD students. We're working with lab techs. In IPPT, where me and Emilia worked, we learned from so many different people. And that was one of the greatest, I think, things that we experienced there, was our exposure to different people, to different kinds of research. So we learned a lot about team building, working with each other. And at least for me, there was also the language barrier, which I'm sure will come up in like medical or dental applications here, because everyone in America speaks a different language. So it is hard to sometimes get across in that sense. So I guess you also learn more techniques in navigating languages and communications with people as well.
Very insightful.
Sorry. I think for me, it was probably the most useful in terms of my professional studies, because like the chemistry aspect of it, like I learned so much more chemistry. Like I wasn't really like, this is more electrochemistry and like nanomaterials and stuff, and I wasn't used to that like coming into the lab in Poland, but I learned a lot about it, which is definitely going to help me with material science, because it's a big aspect of it, and especially with the synthesis of nanomaterials, like I'm going to be synthesizing stuff, of course. And then it helped me because I learned how to scientifically write reports and do presentations. We learned a lot of presentation skills and how to be confident when talking in front of others, and just making new relationships with people, like my professors and the other PhD student that was there. She was very sweet, and it's very good, again, like Aleeza said, like learning how to collaborate with people. And then also like not being like, even if you're not doing a PhD, like you learn a lot of stuff from your mentors that's not even just about science, but about life, like how they like applied to stuff, how they decided the paths they want to do, just other valuable lessons. And yeah.
So you guys mentioned earlier that you had other members of the trip there with you. You guys were all working on separate projects from each other, right? Do you know anything about some of the other projects that your group as a whole worked on, some of your other members?
The other members, like the other 3 members are Ashley, Amanda, and David. So Ashley worked by herself. She was also working with MOFs. And then I forgot specifically what it was about, but I think it was for the photoelectrochemical oxygen reduction reaction also.
Okay.
And then, yes. Oh, and then Amanda and David were working on oxygen reduction and nitrogen reduction. So they were also trying to create these catalysts. They tried to synthesize it in different ways and like modify it after it was synthesized to see how well it could work. And they also did a lot of those electrochemical techniques and stuff. And they were trying to also see how well it could do those reactions to create sources of clean fuel.
Ooh, okay, this is all very interesting. So you came together with the Spark Center and with Dr. Widera leading the trip, but you all worked pretty separately. Am I right? Like this was something that like you conducted your own research with the university there, but your research wasn't necessarily intertwined with one another, correct?
Yeah, so like we were all assigned like a certain mentor. So like me and Aleeza just happened to have the same one, but Lily, Ashley, Amanda, David all had Amanda and David had the same mentor, right? So we all worked on separate projects depending on what our mentor was doing. So like, for example, me and Aleeza were in the Polish Academy of Sciences while everyone else was in the University of Warsaw. So like whatever their faculty was doing, we would just work on that. Whatever our faculty was doing, we just work on that. So, but when it comes to like the prep before Poland, like we were all pretty much doing the same electrochemical techniques just so we can be prepared for Poland. So it's all really like the basis of electrochemical techniques. It's more of like where it branches from there. That's how we...
That makes sense. And you guys all took a lab leading up to the trip, right? So the semester before the trip, you guys all took a lab together to prepare?
Yeah, so that was just the research with Widera that we did.
Okay, I see. Do you feel like this prepared you adequately? I mean, you've mentioned that you went to, you went through a big like learning curve when you got there, learning different languages and, being actually in a lab with someone outside of Adelphi. Do you feel like you were prepared well in the semester leading up to your trip?
I feel like specifically for my project, I was prepared well because a lot of the stuff we did in the lab, it was very similar to what I did. But the other ones, like they did slightly different projects. So I think it would have been a little bit less prepared, but they were still able to learn like different terms and like techniques, I guess. So maybe you guys can say it.
Yeah, I mean, like Emilia said before, we definitely learned a good baseline of electrochemistry. We got our basic knowledge that we needed to know. We got a lot of background information that helped us a lot there. For us specifically, we had never even heard about the term MOFs, or we didn't even know we were going to be working with PVC. So we did do a good amount of learning there, a good amount of background information we got from when we were in Poland. But I would say that our background and our knowledge from here definitely carried over to when we were in Poland to make this transition a lot easier.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so here at our Sparks Research Show, we talk a lot about how research often means stepping out of your comfort zone and learning from trial and error, right? In research, you have to have the courage to make mistakes and to learn from them. It's one of the most important skills a researcher can have. We like to emphasize this with all of our interviews, right? So we call them oh no moments at PAWS Radio, right? So did you guys have any oh no moments this summer? Anything that you felt rejected or there was a setback or something that you were like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do?
Yes, for sure. I feel like for me at least, like it was so hard to just like kind of do everything because it's like we learned so much in Widera's lab, but like when it came to like more specific things to do, it's like you kind of had to take a step back and be like, wait, I don't remember this. Like half of the stuff we did was like in Gen Chem. That was like freshman year. So I was like, okay, I have to like reset. And a lot of the stepping out of the comfort zone was asking for help. And like, because you got sent to Poland for free to do this, you should be expected to know everything. At least that's what I thought. But no, obviously you're here to learn too. So it was just a little scary to ask out for help. But once you finally ask and once you get comfortable to do so, like it felt so much better. And I feel like another oh no that we had was just, we thought we were going a little too slow. I don't know if you thought the same, Aleeza, but I just feel like we were like, we're not going to get great results yet. And it was like almost the end of our 2 months there.
Yeah, I agree. I did also have the feeling that, like, oh no, we're going too slow. We're not going to get results in time and this and that. And especially because I think specifically our lab does work pretty fast. But towards the end of it, I did realize, like, no, we're going at a good pace. We're getting a good amount of research done. It was just the fact of us getting into the mindset of knowing we're doing the best that we can. And we are still getting research. So it's the fact that we kind of had to comfort ourselves to know that, like, we were still doing the best that we could do.
Yeah, I think that's really insightful from both of you. I know that, like, it's easy to look at research and be like, this is an academic experience. These are all the things that we learned and this and that. But there definitely is, like, an interpersonal element where it's like, how am I fitting in this lab? How am I, like, I'm having to ask for help and things that I don't quite understand yet. But because it's a learning experience, because it's meant to be academic, it's like, that's a big part of the point. That's a big part of the point of doing the research. I think that's a really good point, Emilia, saying that, like, that was like a challenge to be like, to understand that you're still there to learn and that it's okay for you to step out and ask for help and get what you need from the people that you're working with.
Yeah, it's also kind of like about, I'm sorry, Lily, if you were trying to say something, but it's also about, like, keeping up the expectations from, like, the year before. Like, I know Dr. Widera will always say, oh, my group is so good. We always get good feedback. They're so good. And I'm like, okay, like, what if I don't keep that up? So it's like that expectation was also, like, very high. But it's like, once you get there and you realize, you're like, okay, this is more chill than I thought. We're doing great.
And the internalized expectations, as you were saying before, of feeling like, oh, I should know all of this already. Like, I'm being paid to be here. You weren't even there for free. You guys got a stipend, correct? So it's like, you're being paid to do this research. So like, it makes sense that you would feel that level of pressure. But I think that your point of understanding it as a learning experience, understanding that the people there are meant to support you and that you're meant to do all that you can, but you know that you're still learning is really, really nice.
I really agree with that, because that's just with, like, any research, because that's, like, the second group I've joined. And when I first joined my other research group, I was very like, oh my God, like, I don't know anything. He's going to be like, why are you here? Like, and I felt so, like, unprepared as coming into the research. Like, I don't know anything about, my first one's about biochem. I was like, I don't know anything about biochem. I didn't take the class, but you learn so much, even in such a little time, that you just forget, like, your fear. You just get used to it. And that happened to me in Poland too. Like, I told her, I was like, I'm sorry, like, I don't really have an electrochem background. And she's like, you're here to learn. Like, why would you be here if you knew it already? So you need to just get that out of your mind and then learn, because you thinking about that isn't going to change anything. Just learn.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have all touched a little bit on, like, imposter syndrome in academia and just in general. Do you guys have any tips that you would give somebody who's pursuing research and who's feeling like an imposter in their own field?
Yeah, I just, usually there's a lot of, well, sometimes if you're lucky enough, there's older people around you that have already gone through it. So just talk to them, try to be their friend. Like, in my lab, there was this PhD student. Her name was Katya, and she was so nice. Like, she helped me with everything. And if you don't know anything and you don't want to upset the professor, they won't be upset. But if you think it in your mind, just, like, ask the older student. But honestly, I don't know why in my mind, but I'm like, just do it, you know? Like, it's fine if something goes wrong. Like, if something explodes in my face, like, oh, well, like, it's okay, but nothing will happen. Like, your professors have your back, and, I don't know, just have some confidence. You got it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just to build off that, I mean, we had amazing mentors. We had Dr. Osha, we had Dr. Jamua, we had the PhD student, Paulina. We also had our lab tech, Ada. Everyone was so amazing. Everyone was such a great support for us, really helped us, make us feel comfortable, make us feel that we knew what we were doing, and really helped us along the way. So just building off of what you said, I do think that it's good to build, like, good lab relationships with everyone there. And they will help you out. It's not like they will judge you for not knowing what you need to know.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's also, like, I really want to touch on that, like, confidence point. Like, you were chosen in this lab for a reason. Like, your lab professor, like, sees potential in you. So it's like, you have to remember that, like, okay, like, they chose me, I'm good. Like, obviously it's natural to be nervous about it, but, like, having that confidence, which is definitely something I struggle with in the lab, having that confidence is, like, very reassuring, and like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I have one final question for you guys. Many students are preparing for their own Spark applications, honors, senior theses, and capstone projects right now. So what advice would you give to those who want to do research but find the process intimidating? And how should they approach professors to get started? How should they move through this process? And if you could go back to the beginning of your own research journey, what would you tell yourself?
For like the professional stuff, like writing a thesis and stuff like that, like if you want advice from your professors and you're too scared to go, either try emailing them first and ask if you can like set up a time to go with them, or go with like one of your friends or something, but literally just go. Like if you go and you just say the word thesis, like they'll be happy to help. Like they're so like willing to give you their knowledge and their advice and everything. And even professors who aren't your research mentors or even your advisors, they just want to help. Like I've had that experience, and it's very like reassuring that you have people who'll help you with every step along the way. And the only like thing I wish I could change is that I started research earlier, because like before I was like, I don't want to do research, and then I got into it. I'm like, I wish I started this earlier, but it's still very valuable.
We hear that a lot, actually. Most people, their feedback is, I wish I would have just started like my freshman year, my sophomore year, like as soon as I could get into research, because it's such a transformative experience for so many people.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. I also wish I got started sooner. I guess my advice would be like, even if you're unsure if you want to go into that field of research or anything, just reach out. Reaching out is the best thing you could do, even if you're unsure, because then you get to learn more about research topics, you get to learn more about the lab work involved. You just get more information from it. And even if it doesn't result in you actually conducting research or going through with a thesis, you're still learning and you're still going through that process. So it's just a good foundation to have. And just, I guess the one thing I would tell myself is don't be afraid to reach out, because that's what I was most terrified of. And like Lily said, professors are not there to harm you. They're not there to distract you. They're not there to like make you feel any less than. They're there to help you, and that's in the end, that's what they will do. So just main idea, don't be afraid to reach out.
Yes, absolutely.
I have like one more point to add to that. Like for Poland specifically, like the professors care so much about you that Dr. Widera, she learned our personalities throughout the year, and then she knows the personalities well of our mentors, and she tries to match you up with the mentor that would like suit you the most. Like she like for me specifically, my mentor was Dr. Skomska, and she is a very big family person, and I don't know, our personalities clicked so much that you just feel like natural. Like I miss her so much. Like you click on the first day, and then like I feel like Dr. Oshel is she's like an electron, Dr. Widera would say. And like
perfect.
Yeah. Like everybody matched so well. I was like, this is so perfect. So it's better like that.
Yeah. I just kind of want to touch on, especially on the reaching out part that like both Lily and Aleeza touched on. Literally, if you just send an email to like any professor that you want to conduct research with, or like even on the Adelphi website, like we have a whole bunch of like research opportunities on there that you can read about, like different professors' websites. But like you never know if you don't try. So just do the email. Just send it out. See if you like it. And if the professor doesn't respond back, go to their office hours. Mm-hmm. Try to connect with them, because honestly, like it's like Lily said, I wish I started this research sooner. So it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also wanted to just add something. I'm just going to shamelessly plug the Spark Center. Me and Emilia are interns. The Spark Center has such amazing resources to actually get started with research. And even if you don't want to do research, they have like, if you don't want to do like a science research, they also have other forms of research as well. So also don't be afraid to check that out, because you will learn a lot from that as well.
Fabulous. We love the Spark Center here. They're our favorite. Yeah. Okay, well, anything else you guys would like to add? I know you mentioned a little bit about like how close you feel with your mentors, and how I know that some of you are still connected to the lab today, like in your relationships that you've built there. Anything else you'd like to mention?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Well, I'd say like with the connection part, like me and Aleeza are still very close with our mentors. Like all 4 of them there. Well, even though it was Dr. Al-Shah. But like, you know, everyone who was around us there, like we met so many people there, and we try to keep in touch with them as much as we can. Like me and Aleeza have been sending postcards to them. It's so cute. And I think they want to send one back. So this is very cute for us. But definitely a life-changing experience. And not even like with our mentors and everything. We also met like at IPBT, there were so many people from everywhere. Like Dr. Jumo was from Nigeria, right? We met Gustavo, who's from Peru.
Yeah, from Peru.
From Peru. Like so many people from so many different places. And that's definitely something I would never change.
Such a valuable experience, multidisciplinary. Sure. Like exactly. It's all around, not just the research that you're doing, but the experience, life experience that you're gaining.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is so valuable. Like if I could go again, I would. Like, but I'm graduating, so I can't go again next summer. But it's okay because maybe that's how it's just meant to be. Like I learned so much from this first time that it made me really want to. It like really fortified my plans to like pursue a PhD later, and it was like some of the happiest time of my life. It was, I don't know, I keep saying that, but it's like you feel like such a like a responsible and productive and hardworking person when you're in Poland, that it just like motivates you. Like for me especially, because I want to do a PhD, but it's just fun. Like Poland is fun. Like I don't know, the vibes there are so nice. But yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We're so grateful for your time and for sharing your dedication of your story of dedication and motivation with us today. If you have any questions about the Poland Research Project, or we would like to collaborate with them, you can contact any of them via their emails, which will be included in the episode description. And thank you to the Spark Research Center for sponsoring this episode and continuing to support student innovation across campus. If you want to learn more about how to get involved with the Spark or apply for next summer's program, check out their page on the university website. We'll link it in the episode description. And this wraps up today's episode of PAWS Radio. So until next time, stay tuned and stay curious. We'll catch you in our next episode of The Summer I Found My Spark.